Welcome to the Sober Heathen podcast. Been a minute since I've got to say that. Didn't come out clean, but we're going to keep it because that's what I do on the Sober Heathen podcast. Welcome. I am the Sober Heathen. Thanks for listening in. If you happen to do so, it's much appreciated. Got a little bit of backlight going on because we've got some fresh snow. The window is open. Well, it's not open, but the blinds are up. It's very bright behind me. Probably got some work to do if I'm going to continue to do podcasts, which I hope to get back into and do more frequently. So, um, with that said, please check out Through the Glass Recovery. You can find them on X. I was just on a podcast with them a couple weekends ago. It should be out soon. I don't have the date in front of me, but that's okay. Get a little action to their site to look it up if you're interested in listening. Was on with a couple guests, a couple great stories. The hosts themselves are awesome. They don't have decades and decades of recovery. They're still fresh enough that you can hear the emotion in their voice, which I think is very important. Not that you can't hear that in somebody with super long term recovery. I just think it's really good to hear that emotion sometimes from somebody that still isn't that far away from it and still rebuilding their lives. Speaking of rebuilding, I don't remember exactly what I talked about in the last podcast, and what detail it was, I guess I should say. But I have got to see my kids for 2 full days over the past month and a half or so. So that relationship is building back. That's something that a year ago I had no idea how that was going to happen. So I'm very thankful for that. I guess, this could be called like a partial gratitude podcast. Very, very grateful to have the opportunity to spend time with my kids. I talk to them every day. I play with my son Easton quite a bit, almost daily, or at least talk to him daily on Discord, which is an app on the computer. We play video games together almost daily, he and I. Also very thankful and grateful. If you follow me on X, you've seen the pictures of what the house looks like, or at least the living room and the outside. The decorations that Miley's put up, those are super cool. It really feels like Christmas in here. And as a guy that really never, we had Christmas things growing up, but it was all real minor and real quick. When you come over for an hour, or maybe a little more, and then everybody was gone. It wasn't something that my family did where they spent a lot of time together, probably because in part, addiction was highly involved. People wanted to get out of the house and go drink, because we didn't drink at grandma's house, and we didn't really drink at other people's houses a whole heck of a lot. But so I myself, living here with Miley, I'm trying to learn how to do the family holiday things. And with Thanksgiving that just happened, we've had some things going on in the family that kind of made Thanksgiving a little different this year. That's not my story to tell, but for me and the way I grew up and the way that I would drink on holidays really change. It's real change trying to do all of this sober. And it's not like I wanted to go and drink when we got together yesterday, for our Thanksgiving, or for Miley's family's Thanksgiving, or whatever. It's not that I sat there and just wanted to drink the whole time. I really didn't even think about drinking. But there was that, I could tell myself kind of withdrawing and sitting away from people, not because I don't like them. I think they're all phenomenal human beings. Just not that strong in starting conversations every single time. There's times when I can come in and start talking and, create a conversation and stay involved in it. And then there's other times I just feel, I don't know, awkward. So really working on those things for Christmas coming up and trying to be better. I wanted to find excuses to not go. And I didn't let myself do that. I went ahead and went because that's what family does, right? Family, you're supposed to spend time together. And just because I feel awkward, I can't put that and make other people feel awkward. Well, where's Scott? Why didn't he show up? That's just That'd be a little selfish on my part because it's just going eating really good food and spending time with, like I said, really great people. I just got to find my way to work through that. So those are things that I'm still working on, but very thankful for how open and gracious everybody has been since I've kind of turned the corner here in recovery and really putting together what I feel is some solid sobriety and recovery. Nothing's perfect, right? So I just know that when I look back, and I've talked about this a little bit on X, when I look back now since April of 2022, right? So in the last however long that is, 18 months, give or take, I drank, I can count on one hand how many times I've drank. That is a tremendous change, right? So some people are going to some people will say, well, that's not sobriety, that wasn't recovery, you know, you still drank, blah blah blah. They'll find reasons to make it a negative, but I don't see it as a negative because 5 times in about an 18-month period. I don't know if it's 18 months, but it's more than a year and it's not 2 years. So I'm trying to pick a number in between there. Um, to only drink 5 times for this alcoholic is almost unbelievable. When the previous 5 to 6 years, with the exception of some months in between of giving sobriety a chance, I was a daily drinker, and it was a minimum of a fifth. I mean, if I only had a fifth, that was because I was either sick or I fell asleep and it was too late to go to the store to get more. Right. So 5 days in 18 months, that's recovery in my book. So I'm very thankful for that as well. Some people on X, you know, I didn't make a list, but somebody had mentioned the Sober Heathen in one of her podcasts, and doing a thank you thing. And you know, I think I will go through and I'll make a post on X and call some people out. But some people that really come to mind, first and foremost on X, is my good buddy Rich Sullivan, who hopefully is going to be starting a podcast soon. I look forward to hearing that. He's got the voice for it. He used to do a lot of announcing, their broadcasting. I can't wait to hear his podcast. And then obviously Lindsay. Everybody knows who Lindsay is, I believe. You know, she's doing videos all day long. She's doing lives all the time. She's been a really good recovery buddy for me, and I really appreciate those two. Just, I don't want to say at the top of the list, but they are at the top of the list if I'm being honest, right? So they're always good to lean on having a shitty day, and they're good encouragement to so many people on X, and I think that's so important. You know, there's people on here that keep coming back, even though they keep coming back and talking about, you know, well, I relapsed again, I relapsed again, I relapsed again. Well, I'm back to 10 days. Oh, I'm back to one. Oh, I'm up to 14 days. I'm back to day one. And these people keep coming back, and it's Lindsay and Rich and a lot of other people are so positive to these guys that keep coming back. And I think that's important. I think that's really important. I think the negative assholes out there that want to dictate to them what they're doing wrong or tell them what they need to do without knowing who these people really are, it's just not helpful. So really appreciative of Rich and Lindsay. So thank you both for all that you guys are doing. So this just kind of, you know, just I want to show a little bit of gratitude. I want to put a podcast out there because I've been talking myself out of it every single morning of doing one. You know, I guess that's a good way to kind of sum up this podcast here and kind of get through it. Is while everything in my life is great, right? A year ago, I would never have thought that Miley and I would be dating again. I would never thought that, you know, I thought my kids were going to not want to talk to me. You know, I thought, oh my God, you know how we are in while drinking, you know what I mean? It's doomsday everything, right? My kids are never going to want to talk to me again. Well, my kids are talking to me again. Miley's back in my life. I have a job. The work that I get to do at this job is very important to me, and I love doing it. But I have been on so many different antidepressant medications that it is unreal. I can't even list them all. And this last one that I got on, it's I'm trying to remember what it's called, the gene site test, where they swab the inside of your mouth and they do a test and they tell you what will work for you and what won't work for you, basically. So finally, this past month, I got on Wellbutrin, which was number one on the list that was supposed to help me, right? And there's been no change. And it's really hard to tell what normal is, right? When coming into recovery, that's always been something that I've been concerned about. Like, how do I know when I'll feel normal, right? But what I do know is that it's really hard to get up in the morning. It's really hard to shave in the morning. It's really hard to brush my teeth. It's really hard to want to take a shower every day, and that's depression, right? But so I've been taking this medicine for over a month now. The doctor said, give it a fair chance this time, as if I wasn't the other ones. But you could make the argument that this alcoholic isn't very good at taking his meds and gives up on things quickly. So this Wellbutrin I've been taking every single day, just like I'm supposed to. You know, I've probably missed a day or two here and there. I know that's not good, but for the most part, I've been taking it. And just like today, man, it's just miserable. It's miserable. I don't I don't care if my shirt's wrinkly. I don't care if my pants are wrinkly. And then it's a real struggle in my head because of all these things that I mentioned that are awesome in my life. You know, the job, the family, the kids, all these things are amazing. But I just, you know, and my weight's an issue. So that's a huge issue that I need to address. And I know that a common response for those in the fitness area would be like, just suck it up. There's a gym half mile down the road, which there is, and I could walk there in 6 minutes. Suck it up and just get there. You'll feel better. I cannot find the energy to do that, and it's really annoying. And you know, with all these great things going on in my life, and you know, all these things, you know, that are coming to an end. You know, my probation could be coming to an end soon, and I can be done with that. And then I'll be able to go into the jail that's right next to our work and talk with guys that are in there that are hoping to find something to grab onto as far as recovery goes when they get out of there, so they don't have to keep being put in a cage for an addiction, right? So many great things, and yet inside it's just rough. So I think it's important to talk about that because, you know, I can get on X all day long and I can cheerlead for people that are killing it. I can cheerlead for people that just went out and decided to drink again and they're starting at square one, which I hate that. I hate that. And I can't believe I just said that. You know, a relapse doesn't have to put you at square one, right? It doesn't have to. If you've put in X amount of time and you relapse, that time that you put in doesn't disappear. Okay, restart your timer as far as sober date's fine, whatever. But all that work is still there. So just go back and figure out what got you to that point, and then what happened to cause the relapse, and just continue building. Yeah, you know, and comments like that have actually gotten me called I'm a killer. I'm going to kill somebody with those kind of thoughts. And to me, it's like, yeah, let's kick them while they're down, right? So when I look at how I'm feeling right now, and the struggles that I'm having of, you know, trying to do my hair, trying to shave and brush my teeth and get to work and not be pissed off before I get to work and not to set myself up for failure in the morning by God damn it, I got to do this, and I got to do this, or I didn't do this, or I didn't do that. I'm already kicking the shit out of myself, and I feel like I'm in a good spot in recovery. So if I was somebody that wasn't in a good spot in recovery, kicking the shit out of myself, and then you got these other assholes piling on, like, well, you should have done this. Did you call this person? Did you talk to this person? Did you read this book? Did you make this phone call? Did you, you know, did you pray? Did you do all these things? This piling on, I can't imagine what that would be like when you go to an environment like the hashtag recovery posse or hashtag recovery strong. When you go to an environment like that, which is overwhelmingly positive, right? 95% or more positive, I believe. And then you get this small percentage of people that want to come in there and act like they know what the fuck's going on in your life. You come to this place that's overwhelmingly positive, and then you find one or two of these people that are going to talk to you like you're an idiot and make it worse. I don't like those people, right? And I think I need to do a podcast kind of diving into some of the experiences I've had and some of the discussions that I've had with some people on here. And I think maybe I'll write it out this time, which I've never done. I've never really wrote out. I mean, I've had plans on podcasts, but I never followed them. but maybe I need to have one in front of me where I can go down the bullet points and really talk about some of these things that I have and why I think it's wrong, and or no, not why I think it's wrong, why I think it's unhelpful, because I'm not somebody that can tell somebody what's right or wrong, right? Because I don't have all the answers either, but I can talk about why I don't think it's helpful. Because again, with the way that I feel and I have been feeling for the past week or two, just really down and fighting with everything I got to get up and do my normal routine. A good example of this is if I was still drinking, I'd call in today, right? If these feelings were happening and I still had the ability to drink and desire to drink, I would call in today and drink, or I would at minimum call in today and just not go to work. So some might say that's alcoholic behavior, even if I didn't drink, right? So, but because of the work that I put in and how I feel in my recovery, which is super great, um, I'm not going to do that. I know what I need to do. I need to get up. I'm going to end this podcast here in a moment. I'm going to go brush my teeth. I'm going to go shave. I'm going to go to work, and I'm going to hope that I get to talk to somebody today that says something I need to hear, and vice versa. And hope to see somebody with an opportunity to get in their position of recovery that I'm in. So that's the podcast for today. So thank you everybody for your support this far and everything. My X, since I stopped doing podcasts regularly and focused on X, it's more than doubled my followers on X. I love doing the podcast too. I love having guests. I love getting on here and kind of video diarying what's going on in my life in hopes I can help other people. I know that it has because of some of the comments and messages that I've received. I just tried to do my best to stay as authentic to myself as possible, without letting myself claim authenticity for shitty behavior. Well, I don't like these people at work, so I'm just going to fuck them off, right? That would be the authentic thing to do because that's how I really feel. But I can't use that as an excuse, right? Just to be a dick. So, to an extent. So, when I talk about myself and how I'm feeling, I want to be as open and authentic as I possibly fucking can. And hopefully one day I'm going to do one of these podcasts, but guys, I figured it out. I got this recovery thing going really well for me, and I figured out what made me feel good in here and in here, and I have the recovery thing figured out. I still have hope for that because I know a lot of people that have done it, and they're either really good actors or they feel really good most of the time, and that's what I want, and that's what I'm going to have because I'm not going to quit. So this Wellbutrin stuff that I've been taking for a month, it's not doing anything for me. I don't know if it's making it worse or just not doing anything at all. Now I'm going to talk even more than I wanted to, but there's a therapist at work. She's like, "Oh, well, they'll probably have to up it after you do it for a while." I don't understand how, when I took substances to try to deal with my emotions and my feelings, and that didn't work for me with alcohol. And now I've tried all these other antidepressants and all these other meds, which are substances, and putting them into my body. I don't, when's it going to stop, right? So is substances been the problem the whole time? Are these meds, is it something else, other than depression? I really think that my anxiety is probably the worst part. So maybe you need to focus more on anxiety meds if there are such things that would work for me. I don't know. I don't know, but I'm almost to the point where man-made created substances going into my body are going to be a thing of the past. Like, I'm about ready to go natural substances, do the best I can, or just eat fruits and vegetables and just try to figure things out in here. But as we know, in recovery, in here isn't always the best place to figure things out. So as you can see, a whole lot of shit going on, but that's okay, right? I don't have a desire to drink. The closest thing that I've had, and I promise I'll end it after this. Last night I ran into a grocery store to get a new shower head. shower head just kind of acting funny. The pressure's not there. Anyway, that doesn't matter. So I ran into Meyer here at home. Miley dropped me off. I ran in, I grabbed that, I grabbed some pop, I grabbed some chips, and the pop and chips are really close to the liquor aisle. And I had the thought for just a few seconds, I could just buy some and I could put it in a bag and I could stow it away when I load up the back of the car. And when everybody goes to bed, because I don't have to work until 11, when everybody goes to bed, I could just have a few drinks, and this anxiety and all these things that I'm feeling, I could get that ease and comfort, and I could worry about it tomorrow. And all these thoughts happen, like literally. I mean, I'll be generous and say 30 seconds, but it was nowhere near that. And I remember in the store, I had these thoughts, and at the end of it, it's like, fuck that, man. Fuck that. And so I grabbed my chips, shitty ass chips, and I grabbed my Dr. Pepper, filled up the cart, and zoomed up front and checked out, and that was it. But I made sure to tell Miley about it when I got in the car, discuss it, not to just hold these things in. So, moral of the story today: I'm thankful, but I'm not great, but my recovery is, and that's a win. So, thank you all for listening. You all mean the world to me. Truly, this podcast and the support that I've gotten from this podcast and on X has been absolutely instrumental in getting me to where I am in this recovery journey. And I wouldn't be able to fight off these mental issues, this depression, anxiety that I'm having, that's been so bad this past week or two or three, without the positivity that I'm getting from the podcast and from X. So thank you. You guys are lifesavers, and I hope to see you again soon on this podcast. Have a great day, guys.